friends, and welcome back to my 27th video on my YouTube channel. Woo! I am Hawkinsimmer, and today we're exploring the Tiny Living Stuff Pack. Yes, I'm so excited. So excited. I don't do tons of tiny builds. I don't know why. I mean, I just don't. So it's exciting to have this pack for me personally because it has inspired me to start looking into doing smaller builds. I'm building in Strangerville. I don't think I've ever built in Strangerville before. It's not exactly my favorite kind of pack. I actually love the build and cast items from Strangerville, but the actual gameplay really isn't my jam. But I am going with the third tier home, which is like a small home, which is 100 squares, and I did use 100 tiles, and I did use 100 tiles exactly. At one point, well, you won't see it because I lost all of the footage. I know, it's crazy. I keep saying that because I don't know what's wrong with QuickTime Player and my iMovie, and my whole computer is just sadness and despair, and I have no idea why it's happening, but I can't seem to just keep all of the footage all of the time. And actually the footage that I have today is pretty corrupt in general, so I wasn't able to edit a ton of it, which is why I think there was just a long pause. But like I said, it's barely doing a playback for me, so I'm not really entirely sure what you're seeing on your end. But I made a really awesome backyard because I feel like people who do tiny living kind of, prefer outdoorsy type things. So I made this, a small home in The Sims, like this 100 tiles really is a lot. Like, I made a 3-bedroom home and the rooms are relatively small, but not ungodly so. The living space is pretty cramped, but I actually really like the layout and how it turned out in the end. But I made a huge outdoor living space, which you'll see in the screenshots, with a pool and a little garden area and like an outdoor kitchen and seating area with like a shelter. It's super cute. I really like this backyard. I think I've said before, I'm not super proud of all of the backyards I do, but I really liked this one in the end. So let's talk about this pack. I feel like I personally have seen mostly good things, but I think we live in a vacuum, just like not purposely, but I think that most people follow people and hear from people that have similar ideas and styles. So what I've been seeing is pretty positive. I have seen a lot of people saying, we needed bunk beds, or a lot of this stuff should have been with university. And I appreciate those thoughts. I do 1,000%. But I think that I think that in terms of the stuff packs we've gotten in the past, I definitely think that this one is leaps and bounds beyond many of them. Not just my first stuff or my first pet stuff or whatever. Beyond many of them, I think this is a really fleshed out pack. Are there things that I think could have been better, we could have had more of? Yeah, of course. Of course it makes sense to have bunk beds in this pack. I'm sure they're coming eventually. I don't know why they wouldn't have put it in this pack or university, but they didn't. But in terms of what is in this pack, what we got, what is there, I really do like. And I love the fact that the individual like stacks of books are now considered, they function like a bookshelf. I really think that that's a really awesome thing to have, and I can't believe I had never really thought of that before, having the books as anything other than decorative. But now that we have it, I'm thinking, wow, genius. Thank God. And it's a base game update too, as far as I understand. So that's really awesome. I really like the style of the furniture, and I think it goes well with lots of things that we have. For example, while there are tons of bright and colorful swatches, there are also really neutral swatches too. So those neutral swatches really can fit in anywhere. But the colorful swatches I think go really well with everything from movie hangout stuff to university. Of course, it goes well with university. I think it also goes well with lots of city living stuff. I really think that the items in this pack are really versatile. So in this pack, I didn't end up using any of the Murphy bed things. I didn't really find it necessary to, but I did use a lot of the other things from it, like the entertainment center that functions as a bookshelf and a TV and a radio. I used the single bed from the Tiny Living pack, and I actually really like that, and I like the swatches for it too. And then I used lots of the just decorative items. The decorative items are awesome. I love clutter items, and I think this one has lots of good clutter items and functional good clutter items, not just, nonsense that is just clutter, like functional things too, which I think is really fun. My computer is catching up, so I'm seeing a little bit of what I'm doing. I can see I'm painting the walls. I really liked this palm kind of tropical, wallpaper. I don't think I've ever used that before, and I thought it went really nice with I think we only got, one painting with this, which is kind of a bummer. I don't really like the painting selections that we do have overall. I hate that the sticker or like wall decal things are in the same thing as like wall art. Like, I don't think that they are the same category, and I certainly wish they had separate categories, but I guess that's too much to ask for. But regardless, we got one piece of art, which I think is a little not great, but it comes in like a bunch of swatches, and they come in coordinating swatches, but it also has like variety among the swatches. It has like 3 of a theme, so there are like 5 themes, and each theme has like 3 different paintings, so it works really well if you're trying to do like a gallery wall, but it also works individually as well, of course. I really like this table. I'm sad that it only comes like in pub style, so that you can use, bar stools with it, because the bar stools don't really function any differently than a chair in The Sims, but, that's fine. That's fine. I wish it had come in just regular tabletop style as well, because this pub table really doesn't, save you any space. That would be my only real complaint, is other than the Murphy beds and the obviously, multifunctional entertainment centers, there's not tons of like space saving stuff. We already have a singular desk like that. Those shelves don't really function as anything. It's not like you can store anything functional on top of them or put a radio on top of them or anything. I really wish that we had gotten something like the floor lamp is huge. Why? Why is it like that? I don't know. Why is it gigantic? Or why weren't we able to put, mini fridges under countertops? Because if we're talking about space-saving stuff, really it's just the Murphy beds. Nothing else is incredibly space-saving. So, I don't know, in terms of tiny living, I think more than anything we got the functionality of the lots and the traits that come along with them, which I've already watched Lil Simsy's review on this, and I totally agree with her boyfriend. I think said that the tiny living lots are OP, and I totally agree. You get tons and tons of perks for living on a tiny lot, or living in a tiny home, and I guess I just don't really understand why that is. Like, lots and lots of perks. I can't go through all of them because honestly I don't know them off the top of my head. But other than just wishing that we had a few more space-saving items, I really think that this is an overall really pleasing pack. I think the items that are in it are good, and I think that, I really do like the idea that they're clearly seeing that the community loves doing tiny houses. It's a big thing. People have already been doing this for a long time, and they're like, hey, yeah, let's add to that. I do like that aspect. It does seem as though they're listening to us, I think. But I mean, people are allowed to like what they like, and they're allowed to, criticize what they don't like about things. I think that that's totally fair. But to me, I think it's a pretty good stuff pack. And, I think sometimes it can be difficult to do like a base game plus stuff pack only kind of build, but I definitely think that you can do that with this pack. I think there are tons and tons of items and lots of ways to like vary them up. Like I said, I think the swatches are really great. They color coordinate within each other, within the pack, but I think that outside of the pack it can go really nicely with lots of packs. I think namely, city living and university movie hangout stuff, and island living too. I think that it has similar wood swatches and similar like color swatches. So I'm really excited to play with this stuff outside of tiny living. But I do plan on doing at least 2 more, probably more than that, tiny living builds coming after this one, because I want to do each tier. So there's like the 3rd tier, which I did, which is a small home, and then there's a tiny tier. There's a tiny home tier, which is just like tiny home, and then there's a micro home, which is even smaller. So I plan on doing at least one of each, and then I want to go back and do one that is just base game plus tiny living, because I think that, that won't be difficult with this pack. There's so much in it. But otherwise, I don't know, I really liked it. I really liked the items a lot. I wish I had more criticisms for it, honestly, because I don't know. I wish I had more to tell you, but I do think it's just a good pack. And like I said, this small home of 100 tiles, like, it's not hard to do, really. I think that it was pretty simple, and I could have really just gone for, a 2-bedroom home, but I really felt like it was cool to get 3 in there. So really, in reality, this house is set up for 4 Sims, because I have a double bed, but it's pushed against a wall. But really, if you wanted, there's space to do 5, because in one of these rooms you could put 2 single beds in, and it would totally work out. So, I mean, in a small home, you could really have quite a few Sims in it. And there were definitely ways that I could have saved space even more so, and I think that there's a lot of ways to, utilize the outdoors, and I think that happens in tiny living. You use your outdoor space a lot for entertaining, and I even think like outdoor kitchens aren't difficult to do. I did one in this, like I said, you'll see in the screenshots, which are coming up. So thank you all so much for watching this, and thank you all so much for watching last week's video. I had a pretty good view rate on that, which is exciting. But please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I upload new videos every Monday and Thursday at around 4 p.m. So I'll see you all in the next one. Bye! Like so out of breath and sorry for all of the ums. I literally couldn't edit anything out or my computer would freeze and die.